The battle against mask mandates is heating up as our next guest files a lawsuit against 36 school districts that he claims are unlawfully forcing students to mask up. He is Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmitt, and he joins us now. Mr. Attorney General, thank you for being with us. Let's lay out the case here. 36 school districts forcing children to still mask, keeping mandates in place. And you say that's against the law in Missouri. Why?
Well, the forced masking of school-age kids is wrong, number one. Number two, it's ineffective. And three, it's illegal. The General Assembly here in Missouri has never given this kind of power to school districts to force healthy kids, for example, to mask or to force healthy kids to quarantine. And so we're taking them to court over that. And it's time to pry away this power away from bureaucrats at every level and return that power back to parents where they can make these decisions, parents and families, as it's always has been. Because we know, look, these masks are ineffective. Even the fiercest advocates for these masks now are saying they're nothing more than facial decorations. But what we do know, Will, is there's a growing body of evidence now about the social, psychological problems, the anxiety and the depression, the loss of learning. It's much more difficult to learn for these kids. So parents should be able to weigh these factors and make these decisions, which is why we filed a few dozen lawsuits last week, and we're going to continue those filings the early part of this week.
Yeah, so if I'm understanding you, let's go backwards to forwards. The illegal aspect is the fact that in Missouri, the state legislature has never given that power to the school districts, and so therefore you're suing them. On the morality and the science, you're absolutely right. Masking, forced masking does nothing. In fact, it hurts. But I am curious about one thing you said. Let's return power to the parents. Isn't there an argument to be made that the best way the parents can exert their power is at the local level by giving the power to school boards and school districts? Parents have a stronger voice in dictating what they want to happen in their schools?
Of course, it's important for parents to participate. By the way, which is why it was so disheartening for the Attorney General Merrick Garland to stick the FBI on parents who are trying to make their voices heard at these school board meetings about mask mandates or about critical race theory. But as an aside, but yes. But the reality is, just because it's a local school board, or just because it's a city council, or just because it's a county commission, doesn't mean they get to violate people's rights. And they don't get to do things that aren't authorized under state law. And that's the nature of our lawsuit. Again, parents can make these decisions themselves. And I would also argue, Will, the most local level we can empower folks to make these decisions are families and not systems.
Right. Yeah, I understand that completely. And we'll be talking a little bit later this morning about how some of these school boards, for example, have become non-responsive to their voters, how they've become little mini authoritarians. But I think it's clear in Missouri, it seems to be that the law does not empower school boards to be doing this. So we'll be following your suit. Thank you for explaining it to us this morning on Fox and Friends.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.